Elves have been a part of popular culture for centuries, and the idea of them living among humans is a common theme in many works of fiction. But what if elves were real, and what if they lived among us? What would life be like for humans and elves if they coexisted? This is Fantasy World. We try to imagine everything about your fantasy. One of the biggest differences between elves and humans would likely be their lifespan. Having a much longer lifespan would affect many aspects of elven culture and society. For instance, elves might form relationships with humans and other elves that last for several centuries, developing deep bonds and connections that humans might find difficult to understand. In addition, elves might be much more patient and deliberate in their approach to life, taking the time to consider long-term consequences of their actions and decisions. On the other hand, humans might find it difficult to relate to the elven perspective, given their much shorter lifespan. Humans might place a higher value on immediate gratification and short-term goals, which might lead to conflicts with elves who are focused on the long term. For example, humans might be more likely to cut corners or take shortcuts in order to achieve their goals more quickly, while elves might be more likely to approach problems in a more methodical and measured way. In terms of social and cultural norms, elves might have a different understanding of what constitutes a meaningful life. For example, elves might place a higher value on learning and personal growth, given their long lifespans and ability to pursue these goals over a much longer period of time. Humans might view this elven perspective as being too introspective or self-indulgent, and might instead place a higher value on material wealth and status. Another important factor to consider is the way in which elves would be perceived by human society. Humans might view elves with a mixture of awe and suspicion, given their long lifespans and otherworldly abilities. In some cases, humans might view elves as being a threat to their own way of life, or as beings who are somehow above the common people. Elves, in turn, might view humans as being impulsive and short-sighted, given their much shorter lifespans and more limited abilities. Despite these differences, it is also important to consider the many ways in which elves and humans could work together and form bonds of mutual respect and understanding. Elves might bring their unique perspectives and abilities to human society, helping to enrich and diversify human culture. Humans, in turn, might offer elves access to new technologies and resources, providing them with opportunities for personal growth and fulfillment. Another difference would likely be their physical abilities. Elves are often depicted as being more agile and nimble than humans, with enhanced senses, strength, and other abilities. These differences would likely have significant implications for the way that elves and humans interact with each other and with the world around them. For example, elves might be much better at certain sports or other physical activities, and they might also be better equipped to work in certain dangerous or difficult environments. The differences in religious beliefs between elves and humans could have a profound impact on their interactions and relationships. For example, elves might view the natural world as being sacred and imbued with spiritual significance, and they might seek to live in harmony with nature, preserving its delicate balance. Humans, in the other hand, might view nature as being a resource to be exploited, and they might be less concerned with preserving the environment. This difference in religious beliefs could lead to conflicts between elves and humans over the use of natural resources and the protection of the environment. For example, elves might resist human efforts to build dams, mines, or other infrastructure projects that they believe would disrupt the natural balance of the environment. Humans might view these objections as being misguided or based on superstition, and they might seek to ignore or overrule elven concerns. In addition to these conflicts, the differences in religious beliefs could also have a profound impact on the development of elven and human cultures. For example, elven art, literature, and music might reflect their close connection to nature and their spiritual beliefs, while human art, literature, and music might be less focused on these themes. Similarly, the two cultures might develop different attitudes towards death and the afterlife, with elves being more likely to view death as a natural part of the cycle of life and as an opportunity for spiritual growth, while humans might be more likely to view death as an end to be feared and avoided. Despite these differences, there is also potential for mutual respect and understanding between elves and humans. For example, elves might be able to help humans appreciate the importance of preserving the environment, and humans might be able to offer elves access to new technologies and resources that would help them protect the environment. In this way, the two cultures could work together to create a sustainable and harmonious world. This friction between elves and humans could manifest in many different ways, such as in the workplace, in politics, or even in social situations. For example, elves might find human work ethics to be lacking, and might find that humans are less efficient and productive than they are. Humans, in turn, might view elves as being incooperative or unwilling to collaborate. These differences could lead to misunderstandings and conflicts, and could make it difficult for the two groups to work together effectively. In political situations, the differences in views and interactions could also lead to tensions. Elves might view human governments as being inefficient or corrupt, while humans might view elven leaders as being out of touch with reality. This could lead to disagreements over issues such as the allocation of resources, the protection of the environment, and the treatment of minority groups. In social situations, the differences in views and interactions could also lead to difficulties. Elves might view humans as being overly loud, boisterous, or disrespectful, while humans might view elves as being aloof, superior, or unapproachable. This could lead to a lack of trust between the two groups, and could make it difficult for them to form meaningful relationships. Despite these difficulties, there is also potential for mutual understanding and respect between elves and humans. For example, elves might be able to teach humans about the importance of patience, reflection, and empathy, while humans might be able to teach elves about the importance of action, efficiency, and practicality. In this way, the two groups could learn from each other and develop a deeper understanding of each other's perspectives. However, despite these differences, there are many ways in which elves and humans could come to appreciate and even rely on each other. Elves might be able to bring a unique perspective and skill set to human society, while humans might be able to offer elves a new perspective on the world and new opportunities. For example, elves might be able to contribute to the arts, sciences, and other areas of human culture, while humans might be able to provide elves with access to new technologies and resources. Ultimately, the question of what life would be like if elves lived among humans is a fascinating one. There are so many potential implications for both humans and elves, and it is impossible to predict exactly how this would play out. However, one thing is certain. If elves did live among us, the world would be a very different and very interesting place. In conclusion, the idea of elves living among humans is a captivating one that has been explored in many works of fiction. While it is impossible to predict exactly how this would play out in reality, it is clear that there would be significant differences between the two groups in terms of their physical abilities, lifespan, religion, and cultural values. However, despite these differences, there are also many ways in which elves and humans could come to appreciate and rely on each other. And this coexistence could lead to a rich and diverse world.